Hi, my name's Keely. I was born in Wichita, Kansas, grew up in Wichita, moved to Salina, Kansas when I was a teenager. I have enjoyed Salina being a smaller town, of course, but there are no other natives here, really. I always tell everybody there's 10 of us and 6 are in jail. But I enjoy things. I love to draw. I love to do beadwork. I love dancing at powwows when I get an opportunity. I have 3 kids, 7 grandchildren. Another question is, how do you find old records before birth certificates, death certificates, and other things? U.S. Federal Census. In the U.S. Federal Census, it is going to give you their age. And that's just simple math to back up and where they were born. Now, when we get and of course this is not going to be on Indians, 1850, because 1850 is the first year that they put in all family members and where they were born in the census. Before 1850, the only thing you're going to have is head of household, how many people were born, males under the age of 1, males like 1 to 10 years old, males 10 to 20, and then it goes over to the females, and then there's another place where it has for slaves, how many slaves they may own. These records are going to be limited, but what you want to do, there is a site, another site online that is free, and it's genweb.org. And you will go to the state you're searching in, and you can research your surname, the counties. You can also search again into the cemetery records with Find a Grave. You can find information through churches if they belong to a church. Many cemeteries will have records on the people who are buried there, and county courthouses. Genealogical societies a lot of times will do research for you and they will document it, but there is a fee associated with that. But if you are living like in New York and your ancestor went to California, it's worth paying a professional genealogist to do the research out of a genealogical society. So, and those societies are by county, not by state, by county. So you find the county they were in and you contact that genealogical society and they will inform you of the fees. But so when we get into really old records, you're going to find, if you do the search with the quotation marks and the name, a lot of times somebody's researched it and the records are already up there for you. In researching my family, I've been very, very lucky. My mother was a professional genealogist. So my mom had her side done, pretty much. I did help my mother with that. That's how I learned it. On the Indian side, researching Indian records is difficult because you don't find a lot before 1900. Unless you get into, the state of Kansas has a great site, historical site, ran by the state, and there are old Shawnee records in there. There are where they give the people food, and they will name right off the name of the head of household, how many people are in the house, and how much food they get. This is how much pork they get, this is how much, so it's, even if you know your ancestor's name, it's always fun to find something like that their name is there, and this, is what they got, rations. There is an early 1820 records out of Ohio that lists one of the towns, and that's a lot of fun to find those little things. When you're researching your family, you're always going to find surprises. It's like you are putting yourself back in time, learning your family, finding children you never knew were born and you never knew about them because they died. Family members that disappear. There's just all kinds of things that you can put together and find out. One thing that we've discovered in our family, medicine runs strong in our family. My little brother's a doctor. Law enforcement runs strong in the family. There are attorneys in the family. There are criminals in the family. Both sides of the bars. So it's like we are our ancestors. What they've passed on to us. So in surprises in doing my ancestry, probably the biggest surprise did not come from research. There was a rumor that one of my grandmothers was black, and I wanted to find out. I could not find any records, nothing to document it. I did a DNA test, and a lot of people feel funny about the DNA test, but I needed to know because I wanted to let my grandchildren know. I want them to know where they came from. Where their ancestors come from makes them who they are. And in doing my DNA test, I discovered I have an older brother, that my father had an extramarital affair, and she gave the child up for adoption. My father obviously never knew about it. That's how I got an older brother, and I'm very excited about it. In doing DNA tests, if you want to do a DNA test, Ancestry does them. They put cells on them several times a year. They'll knock them down to half price. You need to think about it. Open yourself up to the possibility of finding a family member like I did. Or a cousin of mine found out that she's actually not even related to us. Who she thought was her father is not her father. And therefore we are not related at all, although we grew up thinking we were related. So you have to prepare yourself for these kind of surprises when you do your ancestry, because there's going to be at least one surprise that you're going to have. And sometimes it is opening a closet of skeletons. Just be prepared for it. Some of them are happy ones and some of them are sad. But it's all our history.